Thank you. Is Ryan going to be here?
I had not spoken to him. I was not told.
My presumption is that he, and I think he talked like he would be.
Connecting to audio over and over. Let's check it out. I called you Commissioner right now.
So is this muted now?
Yes. So there shouldn't be any feedback. So I did create a executive. I'm gonna go ahead and send you guys that link.
Morning.
Morning. I'm just going to send you the link for the executive. So if you probably don't want it from that, so never mind. I don't need to send it to you. Doesn't matter.
I think we'll know who's talking.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 9 a.m. We'll call the meeting to order. It's a special meeting. July 27th, 2020. Gene, if you would do the honors.
Heavenly Father, we ask you with us this day as we meet for the good of the county. We ask you what we say, how we act, and we represent the constituents in the county that hired us to do this job. We just pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No, it's fine.
Okay. For the roll call, is the clerk on?
No.
Okay, I'll do the roll call. Commissioner Noskis present, Commissioner Glover?
Here.
Present, Commissioner Bothell?
Present?
Okay. Adoption of the agenda. Motion to adopt the agenda as presented or with additions or corrections.
Move we accept the agenda as written.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Public comment. Is there any public on that has any comment today? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item, which is the executive session. So this will be an executive session for the purposes of conference with the county attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific questions under 24-6-4024B and personnel matters under 24-6-4024F under Colorado Revised Statutes. So now we have to go off of this and
We
go to
do.
executive
And then
session.
I'll log into the executive.
Do you have a motion and a second?
Oh, sorry.
Oops, did you already get off?
No.
Okay.
Do we need a motion and a second for that? It's on the agenda.
Yeah.
I move that we move into executive session.
So you got a motion? Okay, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Are they watching us?
Yes, but, so Kimberly.
Good morning.
Morning. So we are closing, I think you clicked on the wrong link, just a heads up. So we're gonna, you'll need to go into the work session link. That makes sense? Because we're gonna basically be closing this out in a moment. We had a special meeting before the work session. I know it's confusing with Zoom, 2 different links.
Okay, I did the one from the updated email that you sent.
I
I'll
think what
close
you're
out.
thinking of, the updated one was Wednesdays, which is the same as this login. So that's why. So, I mean, you're welcome to stay, but we'll be leaving this one and going into the work session.
Okay, I'll go ahead and log off. Thank you.
No problem.
So we ready for everybody to come in?
Yes.
We're trying to, are we all cleaned up on the technical side? Waiting for people to log
She
in.
logged off and she's going on the work session.
Okay, who else is coming in on the work session? You got people in the waiting room for the
We have
work
Patrick
session?
and Cindy are both in there,
In,
and then-
in this waiting room?
in this waiting room, and
Okay.
then the auditors will be logged
Okay, and you said Carla was in the waiting room?
in.
Is that what you said?
And there's a Carla logged into this one.
With the
Right
work
now.
session,
This is the special meeting.
special meeting?
Yes.
Okay. But we're in the work session.
No, this is special meeting. We need to
just make that record that we're going to adjourn the special meeting until 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So that would just require a motion and a second.
Okay, and if we can have a motion and a second to adjourn the special meeting.
And I would make the motion that we adjourn the special meeting until 12 o'clock. That we've come out of our executive session and haven't made any decisions, but we will reconvene that special meeting at 12.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Okay, then we have adjourned until noon, and we'll now log off and re-log on for the work.
Just have to move to the office, but my charger has completely gone out.
On this,
Yeah, so I ordered one from Amazon, which will be here Wednesday, but
you're gonna die.
oh yeah, if I can make it through the next hour, I'll be good, but it's so damn frustrating. I'm like plugging it into every outlet.
Is that a,
It's a Surface?
so probably, Rain on that crowd probably don't have one.
Yeah, I don't think so. But luckily, I know that Jody has one. She has got it at home. I checked with her, so potentially she can bring it tomorrow, and I can at least have some power for this thing on Wednesday.
You're
but-
just too dependent on it. You need more of these.
Well, if if I weren't paper averse, because I could find things easier on my computer, that'd be one thing, but anyway, as fast as Amazon is with 2-day delivery, it's not fast enough for what I need right now.
No,
And it's too cheap to pay for any additional. I'm like, I already paid for the Prime. I'm not paying anything else.
right.
But anyway, I was frustrated. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, as of today, couldn't even, because it has that USB port in the charger. It's built into the charger.
Sure.
So it's somewhere in that transformer
Right there.
because I can't even get I plugged the USB, and so there's no power coming out of that thing either.
So it's probably a broken connector right there inside
Yeah,
the charging unit.
Right here in like the middle of, like I guess on the other end of that,
Right.
that wire is
Yeah.
breaking, and I thought, okay, well that makes sense. I'll try to finagle this, and that's not the issue. It's somewhere in that.
It's inside, and
in that
they're
box, yeah.
essentially non-repairable.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's $29 to replace, so it's not the end of the world, but
It's the time.
inconvenient.
And this weather, I think, is making it worse, but it just pops.
And I have my infusion this afternoon, and the only thing that makes that infusion go by fast enough is being able to do work. So I'm not really
You're
sure.
just gonna have to suffer through it today.
Actually, I don't know that I need my computer right now, so power.
Save some money.
Bobby just handed me this. It's from the Department of the Interior. It's not really relevant, but it says on the zip code is 77833. How in the world did it ever get here? Yeah, I don't know if anybody wants to read it about.
That would be either Arizona or Texas.
I have no idea, but she was like, wow, that's really crazy.
They've got it correct on the letter.
On the letter it is, but on the, which is what the post office looks at is the envelope. They don't know what, they don't care what the
Oh.
letter says.
Maybe you don't read it.
Well, I unstuck it, doesn't mean they didn't stick it back, but
Garden of American Heroes, and I guess this is a response to the statue toppling.
So we're in the special meeting now. We
Yeah.
need a motion and second to go into the executive session.
yes.
Second. Okay, motion to adjourn the special meeting, go into the executive session.
Yes.
In favor? Aye. Aye, aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Ready?
so, ready?
Okay.
No decisions were made in executive session, and then you can take, entertain a motion to make a decision on the resignation of the administrator.
Okay, are we done with that? Is that your read on this?
That was my read. It seemed pretty clear, but that's, I've got to leave, so I'll leave that to you, but it seemed pretty clear that that was.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, sorry, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, you are on the.
We're being recorded right now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Without belaboring this, Suzanne, I know that you would like for her to have stayed on until December 31st. Gene, I hear you saying that sometime you hadn't really thought about the end of the year. It spun there. I'm distressed at the way I was really attempting to get down to the basics here of what needs to be done, which would help us decide how long we would ask her to stay. What things had to be dealt with. Some of them were minor, like John, go sign a document, it's setting out here. Others were longer term things. And so we never got through that. And so obviously, if somebody was going to go talk to her, that person should not be me. I think that's pretty clear. Okay. I'm distressed at the recriminations because I was not attacking her personally on any of this. I was trying to get answers to some basic things, and I was having it was getting more convoluted, and I was very concerned about certain procedures that may leave us vulnerable.
Okay.
So that was my intent. The question now is this done? Is there a cause for a conversation? And
I personally, just to cut and chase, I think this thing's done. I think the fact that she feels like every time you're talking, if it turns into whether it's meant to be or not, it turns into a series of back and forth. And I think there's just it's done. She's done. When she walked out of the meeting this time, I mean, it was pretty obvious that she wasn't gonna, whether justified or not, she was thinking that she was under attack or whatever. So as far as I'm concerned,
Well, and I will say that I think this is a terrible thing for the county. We have a lot of things going on. We've got the COVID stuff. We've got huge grants. We have so much going on. And I feel like it's not a good thing that we had to have the incriminations and disagreements and the questioning in manners that were more than just questions. I am not in favor of accepting her resignation. I would rather mediate, figure out a way to make it work, whatever it is, because I do not see how we are going to be able to do all the things that we need to do without seriously hurting the county.
I'm confident that there are mechanisms, I don't know what they are, because as I said before, I have not spoken to anybody outside of this group about this pending the outcome of this meeting. So I don't know what the options are. I went online and checked on HR people, on services we could provide. That's all I did. And all I did was get names and addresses, phone numbers. I didn't contact them and say we might need somebody. Nothing like that, pending the outcome of this meeting. Okay, so I don't know, but I'm confident there are ways to handle it. What we don't have ways to handle clearly are the details of which button to push on CIC and how to get that. Okay, now that knowledge should not reside with one or two people in that office. And so it's a problem because that's what we're faced with. The payroll, I think Ryan, somebody told me, man, if we miss payroll again, the county's going to quit. Well, last time at payroll was because the right button got pushed wrong. I know nothing about how that system works. I don't care to know. Okay, but they're priming for a revolt. I think Cindy sent out some stuff about that, concerns about the transition of Tyler to CIC to Tyler in August. And so the rumors out there right now that we're transitioning to Tyler payroll in August. Now, we heard Tricia explain that no, they're going to do the simulation around it, things like that, and go forward. But that's not what people understood from some source. It didn't come from us. And it doesn't matter. But we've got that uncertainty out there. And I think that's a lot of people's uncertainty. We're on an open meeting right now that's being recorded. Anybody could log in and watch what we're saying. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of making a motion one way or the other, or if you want to go have a conversation, do so out of my presence. I don't need to be there. But the meeting, I don't want to be out of the room whenever the decision is made. But if you think for the best interest of the county, but fine. But there's obviously such a high level of distrust on both sides. And when I hear words hostile work environment and things like that, those are words that were used when we were dealing with the whistleblower complaint. Okay. And I asked those questions. Did this happen? Did this? And yes, and yes. Okay. Or no, and no, whatever. But they came up with the terms, and now we're hearing them being thrown around again. And all I'm asking for is that we have a system that works and that we have staff in here that can function without an inordinate amount of micromanagement or supervision and not having to go back in and go, oh my gosh, it was a mistake. There will always be mistakes. I understand that. So that's my concern, whoever it is.
But the way to get that staff that can operate without micromanagement is not by micromanagement.
Well, we can have that conversation. You and I clearly have different perceptions on what's played out. Okay. and how it's played out. Jane, I think you kind of maintained a somewhat neutral stance, at least publicly. So perhaps you're the one to talk. I don't know. Or not.
My original statement was, I thought when we received the letter of resignation, that it was probably, at that time, we were probably trying our best to reconcile portions of it.
Mhm.
After today's meeting, I don't see that happening. I mean, I'm not opposed to Suzanne if she wants to go talk to her or whatever, but I just don't know what it'll get if we talk her into staying and we still can't get past all that, then we're just spinning our wheels anyway. So,
Well, I can make sure that I'm not the one that's the match lighter on this in terms of the relationship. There are techniques, there's things we can do. Okay. Emails, whatever. I sign documents, I don't have to do it, but I mean, I can take care of that part of it. But the question, one of you is going to have to make a motion one way or the other if we're going to come to a decision today. I guess I can do it, but I would prefer as chair not to, and particularly given the nature of the conversation, I would prefer not to be that person. She used the term irretrievably broken the other day. She made it very, very clear today that I am the reason that she's leaving, nobody else. It is me. Okay. I know the advice I've gotten from council, including county council, okay, on this. And I'm uncomfortable putting myself in a position of accusations. And so I'm trying to distance myself and not create an environment where that sort of thing sort of naturally emerge.
well, I don't know if this is exactly the right way to do this or not, but my motion is just exactly what I said. If we're going to sit here and talk about this for the next 6 months and have the same thing going on, I would just assume we accept the letter of resignation. We figure out what we're going to do. I mean, we could leaving it open-ended. Our lawyer even said leaving it open-ended doesn't resolve anything. I don't think Tricia's going to come back and say everything's good. I'll go back to work and I'll work 6 months and be happy with it. I just don't see that happening. So I just don't know where to go with it. So I'm like Suzanne at the other end of it. I think there's a lot of things that are going to be a challenge, to say the least, as far as getting ready for the budget. I think we can probably get through the COVID thing. I think we can handle the CVRF. I think we can probably find an HR director to help do that stuff. But getting the people in here, getting them trained to where we don't miss very much is going to be another thing. But I just think that situation today, I don't see it getting better.
So as she left it now, she basically, I can't remember the exact word, just she went out the door. She's done, push the computer.
Well,
She
and
did
I
that
think-
the other day too.
I think part of that comes back to accusations.
Whatever caused it, we
And
have to
so-
deal with what happened.
I think right there, you said you can do this without accusations. Apparently not.
Well, whoever accused whom of what, the issue before us right now is what Gene is talking about, what Ryan kept trying to bring us back to. We've got to make a decision. No, I'm not resigning. Okay, on the record. And even though Suzanne requested that I resign. So what we're going to do now is deal with this particular issue in front of us. So the question is, Gene, do we go in there and ask her to finish out the month, finish out August? Do we go in there and say, we just accepted your resignation effective immediately? She obviously anticipated that, as I see it, because she told me she's already had Bobby go through her bag, so somebody couldn't accuse her of stealing something. I wouldn't even know what she might have taken, except that she has one of my thumb drives. That's it. That I know. Okay. I don't know. I haven't asked her back. I haven't asked for her back. Well, actually I did, but I said, when you get done, that was one of those. So that's it. That's as far as I know. But clearly that was anticipated. Okay, and so if that's the case, and she's taken all these precautions in advance of coming in here for this conversation. I don't know, Gene, it's gonna have to fall to one of you here to decide what you want to do. I mean, you aren't deciding, but to make the motion.
Well, I think my statement's pretty much the motion. I think the way things went, the way things look, I think we have to accept her resignation, and that would be my motion.
Okay, so you're to accept it immediately, effective immediately,
With her statement, yes, as per her statement.
per
And
the administrator's statement. Okay. Suzanne? I know how you felt about it.
I
but do you
will
have a
not
chance?
second that motion. I think that this is detrimental to the county. I think the best thing we could do is ask her to stay and ask you to stand down and not communicate with her, not accuse, not do anything. I think that would be the best thing for the county.
That's your opinion.
And so I
appreciate it.
will not second that
You will
motion.
not second it. Then it would fall to the chair to either second it or ask for more discussion or perhaps other conversation. Jane, do you at this point, from what I understand, don't feel that there's any point in going in and talking about a mediated time frame? Is that, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
that's exactly what I got from it. I'm, like I said before, I wasn't opposed to, but I mean, the motion is based on what transpired and what was said on departure.
Do you think maybe we should ask the question instead of making the presumption? If the words weren't
I'll tell you,
completely clear?
there's a couple things really bother me about this, and we're not going to discuss that part. I want to know what we're going to do as a board, because the only thing I really care about is Rio Grande County. I don't care about any of the other stuff. And if it's best to make the decision that works out, that's fine. But if it's not, we need to know. And that to me said she was done with it. And that's what that's what I based my motion on. That's my motion. I know where you're coming from, and you haven't said anything on where you're going with it all yet, as far as that goes, but we need to know where we're going to be as a team. Because going forward, it's going to be the three of us catching everything that comes through. So,
Well, and this also automatically makes us responsible for the duties.
are you suggesting then that we stop talking about this right now and ask her right now? Is that what you're suggesting?
I think it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay, then what I'm going to do as chair is I'm going to second the motion. Now we can open up the discussion and talk to her and come back and we can revise. We've got a motion, we have a second, we're in the discussion phase. I'm not calling for the vote right now. I'm leaving it open, but now you've got a motion, a second, you got something to work off of. And that would be to accept her resignation effective immediately. If in the conversation you get a sense that there's something different, I would revise my second, subject to his, that we would say we'll accept her resignation at a date certain, but not today. Okay? And I'm not going to speak to her views of me or at all. That, to me, that has nothing to do with this decision. It has to do with how we continue to function and staying on point and getting away from the dementia comments and all that crap. Gene, are you comfortable with what I just said? Otherwise, we can call for the vote.
No, I'm comfortable with that. I mean, I think Suzanne Dreisch got a valid point to make that option. I think we ought to just double check so we're not doing something
So
happen.
we can come back in and restate the motion or whatever it is you want to do. If you want to, we'll go through the procedure.
So
We
are
just-
we taking a recess?
I am
moment
standing
in order
down.
to
If you
have-
guys want to go talk to her, one or both of you, that's up to you. I'm standing down. I'm not going to go in there and initiate the conversation.
I'm going to take a time out. We'll do what I got to do. I'm going to check the office to see if she's there.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's how we're going to do it.
Do you know that? We have nobody to fall back on.
Are we still on?
Yes, we are.
Oh, it's got a white screen. I couldn't see through it. So.
Oh, I think, yeah, the owl's eyes are.
Oh.
Okay, we're back together. Did she come back? Did she ever come back to the office?
No.
She did not.
No, she did not.
Okay.
What she did say was that she does not want to work in a environment where she's being accused of doing things that there is no evidence have ever happened. However, in order to help the county, she would be open to doing a contract basis type thing if she needed to come back and do payroll or do some of those kind of things. She would possibly consider that.
I don't know if that's something we need to think it through after. I mean, I don't know if it's something we need to act on necessarily today, because we could do that anytime. But
However, payroll does require 2 approvals. Danielle's one.
Okay, it requires 2. Who's the other one?
Trish?
So they control the payroll totally. So if Trish goes away and we only have one other person, then I assume that we can designate somebody.
I'm sure we can, if they know what to do.
Well, I was just talking to Debbie because she's very distressed on this.
Yes.
And so she doesn't want to get involved in county politics, that he said, she said, people are thrown under the bus. She had no interest in that. And so if she thought that was happening, I think she'd be the next one out the door. And she clearly says, I don't know how they do payroll. You know, when I say that, those are my words, not hers. Basically, she's, I don't know how to do payroll. Danielle does. Okay. So I'm assuming that, well, that payroll itself isn't that complicated, the actual pushing the button. I'm assuming it's feeding all the data in, but when we had the problem before in September, it was not, the data was there. It's just the process of getting it sent to the bank and then out, however the bank did it. And that turned into a go because there was no way to unravel it once a button had been pushed, I'm guessing. And I don't, that's not our job. So the question is Danielle, if Tricia's not coming back, or we accept her resignation effective immediately, does Danielle have everything she needs to make sure that payroll gets done? And can she give that information to Debbie or somebody else right now? Not in 2 weeks, not in 3 weeks, but they have to have that information now, because Danielle will be out also. And can that happen? I don't know if it can. Trish is fairly confident that she knew how to do the payroll in September because Tina had given her a checklist. And I don't know what's on the list. I don't know if Tina got everything on the list. I don't know.
Do we want to bring Danielle in and ask her?
We can.
Because us making presumptions is kind of pointless, that we need to. Okay.
Well, that's right. I'm throwing those out there as questions to be answered.
Well, is that a question you want answered right now?
I think since payroll is this week, right? We have to push the
Yes.
button yet. That probably ought to get.
so yes,
Yes.
Coming upon us to answer the question now.
After you.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Danielle. We've got a couple of questions, just procedural stuff. Okay. We're not quite sure the status of Trish. I guess did you talk to Trish at all? Or was it
No,
okay. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm kind of staying out of that particular conversation. But the immediate question is, you're leaving right now on the 31st.
Right.
Same day Trish. Well, we don't even know the day Trish is. Are you going to? Can you do payroll this week? Can you punch the buttons? Do you need
Not
her
the
here?
finals. I'm not positive. I would like someone looking over my shoulder. We had separation of duties with it, with me entering it, improving it, and her doing the other.
Sure.
Just so that we
Just checks and balances.
absolutely
Mhm.
following gap. I mean, to me, it's very important. I could do it, but I would prefer having someone look over my shoulder to make sure I'm not doing anything incorrectly.
Or
I think I can figure it out.
okay.
I'm pretty sure I can figure it out.
When did you hire on?
October 14th. It was 9
So you were
months.
here after the Labor Day massacre on payroll,
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
yes. Yes.
and you didn't get to experience that.
No, and I
So,
only started payroll. early this year.
when, what part of this week, because I'm not sure how this process actually works, what part of this week would you need to have?
Wednesday. It has to go to the bank.
Has to go to the bank on Wednesday, so that's the day we would need. Okay.
Yes.
When you say you have to go to the bank, that means you send it
From
to the
here,
bank.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes, an electronic file. Yes.
And you probably know the process. I'm not putting words in your mouth. You probably know the process, but you want to make sure somebody's looking over. Is it so you don't make a mistake, or is it just for verification?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
Who can look over your shoulder and make sure you don't make a mistake? Don't look at me.
Sherry possibly.
Does
and I'm
Sherry
not-
know the process?
Well, Sherry knows the wire process. Debbie possibly for taxes. I mean, there's some that I'm okay with, but I don't even have
So
the passwords.
my
to
question
some of
was,
these.
if we were to have Trish come back to help for a day, would Wednesday be the day you need her, or Tuesday?
Absolutely.
Wednesday.
Wednesday is the day.
Yes, yes, that would be, we could do it tomorrow. I have everything.
Well,
I'm
it's-
doing my reports now.
What I'm trying to get figured out is if we do, okay, so like Wednesday's a drop dead. So
Yes.
is it the same way it won't be that same way in August, because
It's always 2 days before payroll. It could be 3. I'm more comfortable with 3, just in case if something
Cushion.
happens. Yes, absolutely. Tomorrow would probably be better. It had drop dead date has to be Wednesday, and that's for taxes, for our 401A, for Cora, insurance.
All those checks that have to would be written.
They're not even checks, they're all ACHs.
Well, transfers,
Yes,
but all
yes.
that all that has to happen, and
Exactly.
and you want to make sure.
I do not want our employees not to get paid. I mean,
No.
and I don't want any mistakes on it. I'm very
So,
nervous about it.
is there a complicated series of steps to get this done? Besides inputting the data?
For payroll?
Yeah.
Right now, yes, excessively, because we introduced e-sick. E-sick is the federally mandated for COVID if someone is isolated. All full-time employees have up to 80 hours. We do get a tax break on it, so we have been following it. So far to date, I think I've got 7 employees. There's one for sure for next month's payroll, positively. EFMLA is going to be starting soon. We have pay raises that have to be done August 1st for public health. I cannot put them in before it will screw up the system because those are effective August 1st. I wanted to make sure that I finished out a quarter because I did not want any quarterly reports hanging out there. That was ridiculously important to me, including taxes, including unemployment. So those are all done. Those will not have to be done again until the next end of night.
But we've got some August 1st important things to happen.
The rest of the year is going to be there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot.
It's gonna be hard.
I've got a lot of people out on FMLA right now. I think 4 possibly 5. We're gonna have, my guess is perhaps 2 retirements, 1 for sure, possibly 3 retirements.
So this is a
within the
lot of
next-
paperwork, isn't it? I mean, cumulatively. there's
Oh
a
my
lot
gosh,
going on.
yes. There's a lot. There is definitely a lot. And I'm trying to keep up with it.
But you,
I'm one
If you-
person.
if
I'm
you
one
leave July
person.
31st, you're
As-
done.
As long as everyone gets paid and
With all this other stuff that's coming up.
trying, I have left detailed. I even started an ACA spreadsheet so we don't have to wait till the end of the year. I keep up with that as people leave. It is done. So end of the year, if this ACA paperwork keeps, if the spreadsheet keeps getting done,
Mhm.
that'll be easy. This past year, it took 4 weeks. Now, send it off to CTSI, it should be okay. One of my biggest concerns is Tyler Technologies. They want to do a parallel payroll next month. There's
No.
no way, there's no way. I mean,
Yeah, but
There's just-
we can control that.
good.
We can control it. We'll just put
There's a
that
lot,
off.
but please know, seriously, they took a data poll earlier this year. There have been people who have changed elections on their 457, on their taxes, on different kind of things where they dropped insurance. It is not something that, payroll is never the same every month. There's something,
Somebody comes in and
Changes.
changes deductions or
oh,
So-
something.
constantly.
So basically, if we delay the Tyler initiation or go moment or whatever, we're gonna have to go back and redo the payroll.
You have to redo the payroll because of their early pull. They do not have a lot of new employees that have been put in, old employees who have left. All of this is manual. He's had me doing it. My folder is probably about this thick right now. He's having me manually put in the step and grade. Tyler has to be assigned position and rates have to be assigned, which is the goofiest thing I've ever heard of, but
And that's Tyler specific.
that's Tyler specific. Yes.
What's your assessment of Tyler?
I don't like the guy who is doing it. I think it is going to be, he's just, it's very demanding of time which we don't have. I think the program itself is going to be very good.
You're gonna like it better than the
I
old
think it's
program?
going to be a lot more robust. Oh, the CIC, absolutely, absolutely. CIC, there are too many errors, too much room for error. Payroll right now, I'm on my 3rd proofing. I sometimes bring it home to proof because there's no time during the day.
Is
So
part of that because of Tyler training that's taking up time, or is that just normal?
that's my job. It's just my
Just
job.
normal
There's
stuff.
normal stuff.
So,
Ryan had me do something for a case that he's doing now
Mhm.
from December through I did it through today.
Mhm.
Everyone who's left, and he wanted ethnicities and everything. So it's for the Portland
Mhm.
case. There's a lot of people who have left.
We are
There's
now in
a
session.
okay. I'm so sorry. You should have told me that.
Sorry.
Can you delete that?
so, it's been burdensome. Of course, Ryan's having to deal with certain aspects of it. When you get up to 35,000 feet and you're looking at this office, forget the personalities, forget that I'm involved, just commissioners. If you were to change anything with the 4 people that essentially, or 5 if you count Tony, that work on that side of the wall, would you reassign duties? Would you break them up differently? Is there some way we can make it more efficient? Somebody who's got a part-time employee here would be helpful if they increase their hours, anything like that. Not, I'm not talking about the personalities, I'm talking about strictly positions.
Absolutely. If we could replicate Debbie several times over, I think that would be wonderful. But
Just
she is
clone her,
part-time.
yeah. Uh-huh.
That's a conversation I think you need to have with her, but I think her time is coming
But
to
that
an
would
end
be,
as well.
she could be,
She's not going to be though. I don't want to speak for her, but I don't think she's going to.
Yeah, Debbie and I visited too many times out.
not gonna be interested, she's not gonna be here.
Both.
Both. That's what I thought.
It's the frustration level right now.
Huh?
It's the frustration level right now.
because of this, because what's happening. For me, just make it me in this case.
It's not.
You could, I mean, really, if
It's
that's the
not.
case.
No, I
don't.
actually wrote the three of you a letter. You will get it possibly on Friday, but it spells out a lot of what I'm feeling
I
and
have to wait till
frustration.
Friday.
I'm sorry?
I have to wait till Friday. You're not gonna
I
send it
need
till you're
to-
out the door, right?
It will be in here. It will only be in here. I don't even want to share it with Ryan. I think it should be here. It should be addressed here.
Okay.
But it is up to the three of you to take from it what you want. But I want you to know, and since we're on open session, I love my job. I love what I do. I love these people.
Well, I personally am very saddened by your departure.
Me too. Me too.
I'm unhappy about you going. Much rather you're not. Okay.
I wanted to retire here.
Huh?
I wanted to retire here. It was my every intention.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. And I'm sorry to cry. I know you don't like tears. I can't help
No,
it.
Well, as long as they're not ours.
There's a time.
Yeah, there's time.
I'm very, very passionate about what I do here. But I also, my big reason for leaving, there cannot be two sets of rules for different people.
This what?
There cannot be two sets of rules for different people. And that's what I see every day. And it's hard. It's hard.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. So you think even if Tricia's not available, the administrator, that you can punch through payroll? Do you have a level of confidence there?
to me, a challenge is what drives and motivates me. I want to get it done. I want to do it. I feel a lot better if Trish was here. I'd feel a lot more comfortable. She's been an awesome mentor. And she's same thing. She takes the bull by the horns and figures it out. What she doesn't know, she figures out. And
We certainly don't want to repeat last fall, but she was by herself on that. She didn't have a mentor at that point.
there won't be a repeat. Like I said, I've proved it 3 times already. I'm fairly
And-
certain everything is good with it. I'm fairly certain. And I actually have started next month's payroll with everyone who's leaving to make sure that their annual leave is there. The e-sick.
Taking
Yes.
So if you, in theory, you could go ahead and launch payroll tomorrow, right?
I hope so. I hope.
Which tomorrow is Tuesday.
Yes.
So that if there's a problem, we've got 24 hours maybe to catch it, fix it. Because that was part of the problem she had before, is there just wasn't enough time going into the holiday weekend. She couldn't get it done.
Yes.
We couldn't retrieve it, so we had to wait through the whole 3-day weekend.
And
I mean, it was the perfect storm.
we need the 2 days. If we have 3 days, we still deposit it for the 31st. If the government gets their money a little bit early for taxes, at least we don't get a penalty. I feel much more confident paying them
Would you rather
a day
do
early.
that tomorrow?
I think so. I'm very nervous about doing it, but
Do you think we can get Trish to come in tomorrow and help that for just a little while? I mean, I know you talked, she said something about contracts, so I mean.
Right,
gotta figure out what
and
to do.
Danielle was with me whenever I called Trish, just so it wouldn't just be one person.
That's fine.
And she said she would be willing to do things on a contract basis. We didn't discuss a contract rate.
Well, in theory, she's one of these that quit before the end of the month and is getting paid through the end of the month, isn't she?
but also please keep in mind how many hours, weekends and everything else that she has worked. And when she was alone.
I'm not being.
But you know what I mean? I'm not trying to, it is not my place to say that, but I think it's fair. I do think it's fair just to write it out to the end of the month. I mean, payroll's done. Otherwise I gotta dump payroll. Please dump payroll, please. That's just re-entering everything. We have one person who had so many different things on this payroll between Forest Service and holiday and overtime, regular.
You mean
time.
if we don't get this done by July 31st, it's a reset, we gotta start over?
No. If you were to say she's only being paid through today. or
Oh, if she
tomorrow,
were, oh,
Yes,
an
yes.
individual.
Yes,
Oh, no, I'm not
yes,
suggesting
yes.
that. That's not,
That's all I'm saying is.
no,
at
I
least
wouldn't
keep her
do
to the
that.
end of the month.
We don't do it to anybody else. Right? Have we?
Yes.
We have? Oh, I didn't know that. Because we've been operating under the impression that somebody could quit after you
Okay.
punch the button and they get paid through the end of the month.
Luckily, during my tenure, I have not had that happen where somebody has left,
In
Right
the gap?
then. but they have when I have started payroll. It just happened last month or 2 months ago.
No,
And I counted
I'm
the
not
days,
suggesting that
so
we do anything. That would be retribution. That's not right.
I don't think it's right either.
So how do we find out if whoever's talking to Trish, you, Danielle, we need to.
I will reiterate my question. If you want to hire her on a contract basis, what would be the contract amount? Because you have to have that, if you're going to offer it to her, you have to have.
Yeah,
a
we have to
number.
have an amount. I don't even know exactly how much she makes. I'm not sure I'm on open meetings place to discuss it. But I would say for contract day hire or contract week hire, I'm just throwing this out there. If she goes on contract, now she's not getting, she's responsible for her own taxes and all those things, that 1099 thing, right? Would that be correct if
I
it's a
would think
contract?
so. It depends. Debbie is contract, but she is on payroll. She doesn't get any benefits, but she does get unemployment. She gets Medicare, federal taxes, so she wouldn't have to be responsible for it. But she does not get any county benefits whatsoever.
So she's technically, she gets a W-2 then, doesn't she?
She does.
Okay, so she's a W-2, not a 1099 employee. And in this case, would probably be a 1099 because it's going to be for short interim, I'm assuming short interval.
I think it would depend on how you wanted to set it up. I don't know if there's a,
I'm a little surprised because IRS is pretty specific about that.
I don't know.
What constitutes employee versus contract hire. Now, Debbie did that. And arguably we could make it because she started more days and did all this thing. But in a case like this, where we're coming in doing specific things kind of on her own schedule, knowing that there's a deadline by this day of the month, certain things have to be happening, she gets to work through it. If we did a 1099, where I was going with this, we could figure out what her daily rate would be under her current salary and add to that, which is the 15.2
I'm sorry.
on the Social Security and FICA.
Oh, the percentage.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Unemployment, I know is.
You know,
0.003.
don't you, Suzanne? You do it.
I don't
It's
know
like
what-
in the 15%
15
category.
point something, Medicare and FICA. Those two things, add that in. And because that's what she's going to have to pay. She's going to be liable for that whole 15% as a
Right.
contract hire. And just say, we're going to add that in. Now you get in the sliding scale. What about the FICA on the FICA? Come up with a number. I'm assuming that her rate based on, I'm putting a number together in my head. I'm not just talking about it. Is how many days a month people? 22 on the average.
240 per year, so
2,080 hours.
yeah.
But I'm just thinking the daily rate is what I'm thinking. Okay, it gives us a pretty hefty daily rate.
Mhm.
Um, so it's a pretty hefty amount per day. And if she was willing to work for it, this is now these are rounded numbers, Suzanne. That's the daily rate.
Okay,
Okay. With a 15, I just picked 15.7.
Oh, I had it.
You were close?
Yeah, I
bet you were
I
close.
was within $7.93. Seriously.
Okay.
So we haven't, we got everything kind of tabled. We had a motion and a second. We tabled for vote, didn't call for the vote yet. So if we were to decide to do something, Trish is paid, her salary could be through Friday, right?
Yes.
Now you suggested that maybe I misspoke. Did you think I was suggesting that we cut her off before Friday and then maybe pay her a little bit in between? Okay, that was not what I had in mind. Mine was through, regardless whether she comes back and helps or not, she gets that through the end.
Good.
Okay.
okay, I got a text back from Trish and she said she will come in tomorrow to help Danielle,
Fair enough.
not at any extra
The
charge.
what I was gonna ask for her, since she said that, is if she'd be willing to help through Friday, which was the date that I had in mind even for help before, since that's covered, if she would help do whatever there is. I mean, however she wants to set that up, I don't know, but, and then if we're gonna contract her, we can figure out how we're gonna contract her and what that'll be between now and then, so we can make that offer to her.
I think it would be a good idea, since you're leaving, you're abandoning us, and you're gone. And Debbie is not wanting to work more hours, and she's distressed anyhow. That we're going to need some training for whomever we bring in. I don't care how we fill the HR slot or how qualified an administrator we happen to find out there, if we find one. There's still going to have to be some training. And Trish would probably be the one to do that. And we could pay her as a consultant to instruct. Does that make sense to you guys? Or we could pay you as a consultant.
I'm expensive. I've been cheap. I took this job very cheap.
I know.
I really did. And mine doesn't even come close to the beginning. I've been told by the Tyler Technologies man over and over, why aren't you where you're supposed to be with us? I was fine with my rate. I was fine. And I was honored when I got a raise after my 3 months. So thank you for that.
And we will not ever find another Danielle.
No, no.
And certainly
Thank
not
God.
at that, certainly not at that rate.
Is that supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing, the way you said that?
No. Just leave it with the good. But
Yes, it was.
no, I'm what I'm hearing you say is you one and done, you're gone.
I love this place. I cannot reiterate it enough. I love the people I work with. And it is a true, true love of these people. These are not my people.
So you didn't answer my question. I know you love the people.
I love my job as well. I don't know how to answer that question. I
Well-
really don't.
Are you available going forward if you need help?
Yes.
You are. Okay. And can you describe to me what available looks like to you?
Can you
So it was going to be Chicago and it was going to be some goat therapy time. That is really all I have on the books besides,
Your goat needs therapy?
no, mama needs
Oh,
therapy. That's my piece right there. Those boys
Yeah.
are my piece. The only other thing we have going on is a lot of house remodeling. And that's where I immerse myself to do some really hard work and just soul search and Right. So that is all I have going on. I do not have another job. I've been offered
bet
3
you
different
have.
things, but
I bet Saguache
It's-
County would offer you all sorts of stuff.
Saguache County has not even offered me a thing. Saguache County doesn't
They don't
even
even
know I
know you're
exist
available, I
for
bet.
good reason.
So what would work for you going forward in terms of your availability, your time, and how would you see it interfacing? We were going to, initially, Tricia indicated to us that you wouldn't mind visiting with us last Wednesday. Okay, and then you thought better of it, whatever. Didn't want to walk into the melee.
That is
So,
exactly it. It's exactly. You nailed it.
and so we didn't have the conversation because at that point, she had left me with the impression that you might reconsider everything or whatever. You know, you're still kind of open to conversation. And then I got other people told me, and I don't even know if they knew or had a right to know or say that, no, you said your last day was Friday and that was it. So I kind of just, okay, put it in the box, put tape on it. But what I'm hearing is you might be available, but tell me what that looks like to you and what things would have to happen to make that work for you.
We'd have to discuss this without Mr. Owl.
That's fine.
And that can be arranged.
That can be arranged. It's a personnel matter. We can do that. Routine
As I say,
personnel.
I think that's when the
Okay.
letter needs to come out, and even if I don't write it, it needs to be spoken.
Well,
So
what we can do at some point, now we've got a motion in a second on the floor right now, and we haven't quite figured out how to resolve that. And we're going to have to do that. And it's 2:00. You had another meeting, but
At 1:30.
okay, so did I, but you
Mhm.
okay, so you didn't make that. If procedurally, we're gonna have to do something with this vote. Okay. But we have a chance to discuss it. So if you want to talk to us after the meeting, just on a personnel matter and what you're thinking, are you comfortable doing that?
I'm really wondering if this doesn't contain some information that would be pertinent within our vote.
I don't know if it would or not.
And so I'm wondering if we shouldn't go back into executive session, have the discussion before the vote. I don't know.
You know how to move us in and out of executive session over here,
Do you know how to work Zoom?
I do not. Sorry.
Eugene?
I can unplug it.
So we've got a bit of an issue on that. Since it has to be recorded and none of us are,
It's possible Bobby might, just because she might be doing Zoom with grandkids, those kind of things. No, I mean, seriously, just FaceTime. It's possible she might know how to do that. I don't.
okay, then
Again, I come from a house now, no TV, no internet for 2 years, so.
I'll take a motion to adjourn the special session for the purposes of re-entering the executive session under 24-6-402-4 Colorado Revised Statute, personnel matters. It's not for legal advice or attorney. We're not talking to the attorney at this point. So I'll take a motion for that if that's what you want to do.
So moved.
We got a motion? Second. And we've suspended
I think it would be more.
The, vote
We have to.
pending whatever bomb you're going to drop on us.
But nobody is going to raise their voices. We are open to be civil with,
Hang on just a minute. We are,
and nobody's gonna make fun of me crying.
I
Because there
forget
will
this
be
is not a
tears.
touchpad. End meeting.
Hmm?
So many hours a day,
And
each
how
one,
do I?
and nobody
okay.
knows what the hell the other one's doing right now.
It's,
Stuff that
there's
just
a
didn't
little
That's
dot up
management.
here that says recording.
That's allocated resources,
It's doing its
you
thing.
know, and if it's that much training.
Is that right? Okay.
Sometimes you just send somebody to school
Yeah.
somewhere and say, okay, you're out of the
We'll
office for
get
the
it.
next 3 weeks and
Yeah.
you're gonna learn this, whatever it is. And then you're gonna come back
How do I do
with the
that?
book,
It didn't
you're gonna
ask.
train, not also, but it's like, oh, you learn a little bit, you learn a little bit, you learn a little bit, all get to, you know, that's.
Yeah.
It'll never,
Okay,
people teach differently.
okay.
People absorb differently.
Yeah,
I
let's
believe
just say
we're-
you teach differently,
I
you
think we're
learn
ready.
differently, both. So.
Okay,
You need one person that's on the top of the pile.
okay.
I don't care.
I will
It
try
could be
to do-
JJ.
yes.
Or just
Let me know when.
the tile.
All right, thank you.
Don't let her have anything to throw.
Okay.
She referred to it. She says, maybe I should be a little less sassy. I said, sassy?
Okay,
Yes, are we on?
we are on.
Okay, so we came out of the executive session for personnel matters 24-6424 F. No CRS. No decisions were made. We're back into the special meeting.
It is 4:33.
4:33. Before we adjourn into executive session, we had a motion and a second on the floor, which we tabled until we reconvened the special meeting. So do we want to deal with that question right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're calling the question. So all in favor of the motion,
Should the motion be restated?
we can restate it. Okay,
I think to refresh memories, it would
that's
be
fine.
appropriate.
It's okay. The motion is to accept the resignation of the county administrator, Tricia Slater, effective immediately. Is that right?
Yes.
And that motion is made by Commissioner Glover, seconded by Commissioner Knopfsker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay. So Commissioner Glover and Commissioner Knopfsker voted aye. Commissioner Bothell voted no. All right. So that motion carries. Is there anything else before the board at this point?
No. I don't think so. I don't think there's anything else, is there?
I don't think I have anything.
I make the motion we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Dang, that's a lot of work turning that stupid thing on. Oops.
We're just, there's got to be like a switch you could flip between them.
You would think so.